Before I start this video, I'd like to say a huge shout out to the Coffee Gang. Make sure you check out all their channels, make sure you subscribe, and of course check out their videos and content, and make sure you leave a like. Also, if you guys are new to my channel, please consider liking, subscribing, and of course leaving your thoughts down in the comment section. And if you'd like to join my scan servers, please consider joining the Patreon. All links will be in the description.
The heart of a blackmailer.
Huh? What are...
I am Fox.
Awesome. You got here all in one piece. Monster Cat!
Hey guys, it's Captain Forrest here, and today I'm here with a Persona video. It's been a while since I've done any type of Persona scaling. I think the last video, in terms of like Persona wise, I did a Joker video, power scaling video that went really well. That was well received, especially the Rinnedom versus Joker matchup. That was loved, and that was hated too, which is okay. Everyone loved that video, but you know, some others thought otherwise, but that's totally fine. So I figured I'd make a Persona video because I want to start doing some more Persona videos a little bit more, because there was a guy that kind of like asked me if I'd do some more Persona stuff. So today I figured I'd start things off, and today's topic, I'm gonna be talking about Mementos, and I'm also gonna be talking about how palaces work, and I'll also talk about a little bit about Yaldabaoth. All these three things are very important because they all are connected and intertwined with each other, or entwined I should say. But anyway, so today I'm gonna talk about Mementos, and then just get right into all the nitty gritties and take it from there. So I'm gonna start off with explaining palaces. So palaces in Persona 5 are alternate realities within people that are manifested inside of them via distortions and dark desires, which are alternate versions of you manifest within inside. You are completely unaware of your own palace and the alternate distorted version of yourself that exists in that palace. Depending on the distortion, one's own cognitive view on something will change, varying their desire. An example, the perverted and evil gym teacher Konoshida viewed the school as a castle, though his cognition, which turned his palace into a medieval style kingdom. The phantom thieves travel between reality and palaces via the nav. Within the palace, the distorted user can do whatever they like and materialize people and objects, specifically shadows. In order to first enter the palace, one must find the key phrases that relate to that palace in order for that person to gain access to that realm in that specific area. Moving on. Palaces are conceptual, and the items inside. The guns in the real world are not real, they are just model guns, but inside the cognitive world, the guns and the items that you bring in basically come to life and are basically like they come to life, and you pretty much trick whoever perceives that weapon because you're messing with their cognitive thinking. For example, like in the Persona games where the Persona characters are they wield weapons, especially like guns and rifles. They're literally just toy guns, but because when they enter inside of the palace, everything becomes reality, so those guns literally become real. Another thing, the weapons themselves are conceptual. Yusuke basically describes the distorted realm and the shadows on about the cognitive creations as the physical embodiment of the desires in the human heart, which is basically outerversal. These are just some scans as well on the screen showing that the weapons in Persona are conceptual and based off platonic ideas and platonic concepts, especially the shadows and everything that dwells inside a palace. The reality version of you will have no knowledge or any awareness of basically what transpires inside the palace. For example, if like when Joker like fights Kanashida inside the palace and they get into a scuffle, if Joker like leaves that realm and goes back to the real world, yeah, Kanashida will have no idea what happened or what transpired with his shadow version. Morgana explains, by erasing the user's palace, it forces a change of heart, making them atone and admit their dishonest deeds. It also erases their distortion and any traces of activity that commenced. There is another way to basically dispatch of a palace ruler, is by killing the distorted user of that reality, which will cause a mental shutdown and will cause both the person in the real world and the cognitive palace to die, which is what Akechi did to Okumura. In order to erase the palace safely, you must trick the distorted person's cognition into thinking they have a treasure that the Phantom Thieves are after via calling cards, in which defeating and causing a change of heart will allow you to take their treasure. The reasons this must be done this way is because desires have no tangible form in nature, but if you want to just dispatch of the palace ruler, you could just simply kill them without having to do that step, but obviously that would kill them in real life. As long as the user has access to the navigator, he can also bring outsiders and objects and weapons into the realm/palace, basically persona users. You can also manipulate people's cognition and make them view something which is simply an illusion. Ren and the squad used Sai's palace to manifest a fake Ren in which Akechi went to visit Ren, unaware that he was inside the metaverse, in order to murder Ren and pass it off as Ren committing suicide, which the Phantom Thieves, with their Batman prep and steps ahead planning, pretty much destroyed Akechi's plan. A palace cannot take form if the person is a persona user. Palaces are simply put a materialization of one's distorted cognition brought about by strong desires. Palaces can still form even if the person is not evil, such as Futaba. And lastly, if one's distortion continues to worsen, it becomes its very own palace and reality. So these humans can, like, if their desires, like their conceptual desires, become too menacing and they get worse, they can literally just manifest these conceptual universes. Okay, so now that you guys are up to date with how palaces work and get a basic understanding of how they work, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Mementos. Mementos is a palace for everyone's hearts. The general public share the giant palace via the Mementos. As mentioned, Yusuke describes the distorted realm, which is Mementos and the palace within, and the shadows, the cognitive creations, as the physical embodiment of the desires in the human heart. So easily, as I mentioned, the metaverse, Mementos, and pretty much just palaces as a whole are conceptual in nature. The personas and their powers are conceptual, as they all are linked to Mementos. Morgana states that by erasing Mementos, the team will lose their powers and personas, and it would be impossible to enter palaces as the human cognition will lose substance. There are more alterversal arguments and more layers if you want to try and argue it, and just more consistency to back this up for Persona 5, as Persona itself has shown to have many connections to Junagan's psychology and instances of it applying to the cosmology. Junagan archetypes are a form of Platonic concepts and act as them, which are infinite in amount, comprising the collective unconscious, allowing it to transcend time and space, being transspatial and transtemporal in nature, acting as an idea or a perfect idea of a concept, like the Great Mother archetype that acts as the perfect and ideal traits a mother would have. The collective unconscious is stated to be a dimensionless realm under Jung's work, and it should be comparable to the origin bow and quintessence bow, which are Platonic concepts, as mentioned through my explanation through the palaces and how weapons work in Persona. Also, I forgot to mention shoutouts to who made this. I forgot his username, but shoutouts to him. He found all this crazy outerversal arguments for the realms and how they work. Morgana states that the Mementos is the source of all distortions and exists because of the people's collective unconsciousness. Morgana states it's fused with countless number of people's cognitions, which is constantly shifting. Within Mementos, people's hearts can be changed even if they do not have their own palace. Now let's talk a little bit about Yaldabaoth. So Yaldabaoth notes that the distortion of man's world is endless. Yaldabaoth holds domain over man itself and responds to man's very own desires. More information regarding Mementos: the abstract existence of Yaldabaoth, who is a being made entirely from the unconscious thoughts of humanity. All of the people's collective unconscious and cognitions have manifest his existence as humanity yearns for him. Since the mass of people have given their support and desires and needs, it has made him nearly, if not infinite in power. He is referred to by the people as the granter of dreams. The human seeks out their desires to be granted, as he can grant wishes. As long as humanity yearns for his existence, he will never die, as humanity desires and wishes to be governed and ruled by the Holy Grail, aka Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth himself governs Mementos. The distorted desires of the masses is the very core of Mementos itself. More evidence of Yaldabaoth governing Mementos is that he can manipulate the reality and destroy/restart the universe, and can alter the outcome of the timeline, since Yaldabaoth rigged the game and outcome so that Joker would be destined to fail his rehabilitation. And if Akechi would have succeeded in his mission, it would have caused the destruction of the reality and have the universe and the game restart. Yaldabaoth can return the world to its former state if it was restarted, but it would be in a state of rampant distortion from the masses. He responds to the masses' desires and holds domain over man. Yaldabaoth himself notes he is the administrator born of the collective human unconscious, and he himself governs Mementos, and its future is entirely determined based on his leadership. So that's pretty much it, guys, for the video. That's just talking about the metaverse as a whole, Mementos, how palaces work, and I hope it was pretty insightful. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace.